Welcome to Not the 9 to 5,
the podcast for freelancers
by freelancers.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out,
join us as we share insights, tips and stories
to help you thrive in the world of independent work.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Francesca.
We are two freelancers exploring the highs, lows
and everything in between. So grab your coffee, kick back,
and let's dive into another episode of Not the 9 to 5.
Katheryn Siggers.
Francesca Marago.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you on this fine, drizzly day?
I'm so great. Don't you just love the English summer?
You know what? It's so good that it skipped the summer and now we're in autumn. So the joys.
I know, right? But we're all right because we've got a ray of sunshine with us today. Tell us who we've got.
We've got singer Juno James here with us today. We are so excited to speak to her. She's done such amazing things and has so many things to share with us. So let's just get straight into it. So Juno is a musician who never wanted a 9-to-5 job. Ditto to that. She knew what she was destined to do from a young age and has always strived to chase something so much bigger. She has just released her brand new single, Same Old, a mix of hyper rock meets pop, and is screaming with honesty and determination. Juno's artistic mission is to remind you that life is too short to settle for anything less than extraordinary. So let's get into that. I just got goosebumps. So welcome, Juno. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You said you never wanted a 9-to-5 job. Tell us all about that. Like, was it from a really young age that you realized like the corporate life or whatever just was not for me?
I think it's been since I can remember, really. I think like in my head, I don't know what it is, but I've always felt super different to everyone that's been around me. Like even at school, I think just my brain is wired really differently, and I would kind of look at everyone, see what they're doing. And I never fit in school, never. But I didn't want to fit in, which was even weirder. And like when everyone was kind of doing their interviews to go to different universities and stuff like that, I think that was the point where I was literally like, there's no way that I'm doing that. Absolutely no way. But I always knew from a young age, like my dad's very creative and he's not in the music space, but he is in like the art world. So I kind of wanted to follow his footsteps. I actually wanted to be an interior designer, like when I was super, super little, just because I used to skip school all the time and just work with him. So like that was kind of hardwired into me from a very young age. And I think just like, I just never wanted to settle for something that was just a bit, I don't know, standard. I always wanted something more. And I've sung from a really, really young age too. And I think I've been really lucky to have parents and family that are super supportive. And, you know, my parents are so laid back and they just want me to do what I want to do. They've never really pushed me into a direction that they want me to go into. So yeah, I think it's always been in me. I've always wanted to have a really cool life. And I think a 9-to-5 never really fit that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, in terms of like your singing career and the interest, like where did the singing start? Where did you find a buzz for that?
I mean, you never really know when you're that little, but I think I got an incentive to keep going because I got told that I was good, like at a very young age. And I kind of got told like, oh, no, like your daughter's really good. Like she can sing. And I'm like, can I? Like, I just like doing it. So I guess that was sort of like where it started. And then my mum, she put me into like dance school from, I think the age of maybe like 9. It was quite late. A lot of people start quite early, like a lot earlier. And then when I started that, you kind of had to like level up. So the longer you've been there, then you go on to like the next stage. But I think I progressed quite quickly. And I think just because it was such a passion of mine and I loved doing it, I think they kind of saw that and I progressed quite quickly. And then I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I want to do. So that was like, it's nice to have praise, because then it kind of gives you the confidence to keep going and be like, oh, okay, maybe this is, you know, this is the right fit for me. So I've always kind of had that in my life. I've always had music. Like my mum and dad love music too. I wouldn't say they're very musically talented, but yeah, I've always been surrounded by music. Like even my sister, we used to share a room when we were little, and she's 7 years older than me, and she used to blast. Like I remember listening to the trilogy by The Weeknd when I was about 8. Like I was like so young, but I was like, oh my God, I love it. I'm probably not 8 years old, probably like 10 or 12 whenever it came out. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, I love this. So I just got introduced to so many different genres and types of music. And I think that really helped me now, even to this day now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like your work is really influenced by a lot of different kind of genres of music.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I grew up, even like on the way to my dad's work when I used to skip school, he had this CD back in the day when there were CDs around, and he used to play the Beatles album. I can't remember what album it was, and I just loved it. Like that was our go-to music, just like listening to the Beatles on the way to his work and on the way back. And I think it's just given me the appreciation of all different types of music. Like obviously I'm predominantly pop, but I appreciate lots of different genres.
Do you think at like being a singer, it's really important to kind of at least know of all these different genres so that you can, I guess, adapt to the times if it does change? Like, do you think it's important to know about all of the different genres that there are?
I mean, I guess it's a good thing. It doesn't hurt you to have like a wide span of music that you listen to, but I don't necessarily think you have to know or have to listen to all different types. I think it helps with songwriting, and it can help when you're writing for other people. But you know, if you like pop music, or if you like rock, or if you like scream, that's just what you like. And if you're going to go into that field, then it doesn't really matter if you're listening to like classical or country. You know, it definitely helps, but I don't think it hinders you at all.
And how did you get into like your career as it is now? Like, what was the progression?
So it's been it's definitely been a long process, that's for sure. But I'd say it really started just before I left school. So when I was 16, 17, I picked up the guitar again, and I just like I think my dad bought me a guitar when I was like 9, just a cheap old guitar, and then it just got stored away and never got seen for a few years. And then I picked it back up when I was 16, and I would just sit on the edge of my bed. I remember my room was getting redecorated, so I was sleeping on the mattress on my floor, and I would just sit on the edge of my mattress, like learning guitar and writing music and writing songs. And I didn't write songs until I was quite late. Like I started at 16, which is quite late for like a musician. And I remember I was just like writing, learning and singing at the edge of my mattress. And I remember we had a leavers do at my school, and I think I just turned 17. And they always have like different acts going on, like dance acts, and they'll do like a little play or whatever. And I remember I was like, oh, I wonder if I could like perform one of my songs. I was like, obviously I haven't done this for long, but anyway, so when I'd be playing, I'd just close my eyes and visualize myself on my school stage in the little corner. Exactly. I knew exactly where I was on the stage and what I was singing. And I would just visualize, practice every single day. And I think I did that for about 6 months. And then when it came time to leave, a girl in my year who was, I don't know, she was part of like the school community or something. She was like, oh, we need a talent to like perform for the leavers. And someone was like, oh, Mia can sing. But yeah, so then, because I used to post on my Instagram just like a few singing clips, someone was like, oh, she can sing. And then she came up to me and she was like, do you want to do it? And obviously I'd visualized this like for 6 months, and I was like, oh, shall I do it? Shall I not? And I was like, I'm just going to do it. And then I ended up doing it. Don't get me wrong, I was so awful. I was so bad. Like, I look back at the video now, I literally had to delete it off Facebook. I was like, I can't let anyone see that video. But it panned out exactly the way that I
Envision.
like it was exactly the same, like exactly the same spot, exactly the same feeling, like the songs that I was singing, the response I got at the time, even though people probably pretending to like it, it was exactly the same. And I think, yeah, it was at that point where I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Yeah, that was the point where I was like, oh, visualization. I was like, I think this can work for me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So it was from that point on where I really, really believed that I could do it. And then when school ended and everyone went to different universities, it was like, oh, I've got into Oxford, I've got into Liverpool and stuff like this. And I think I was the only one in my like big friendship group that didn't go to, well, I started to go to uni, but someone that wasn't like, I was the only one in the creative field, basically. So that was a little bit scary, but I kind of just knew that I was destined to do something else. You know, when you just have that feeling, I've always had that feeling in like my chest and my gut that I was just destined to do something a bit bigger. So it was then, and then I went to a music uni, realized that was not for me. I was like, oh my God, I love weird people, but there's like weird and then there's weird. And I really didn't fit in there. At the time I was like a little hippie. I had like long caramel curly hair. I was like tiny. And it was just really overwhelming. But then I got an opportunity to be in a girl band. So I actually dropped out of university and then did that for a year and a half.
Just touching upon the visualization that you had about performing on the stage at school and stuff, I think manifestation is such a strong thing, and I think whatever you believe truly in your soul will happen to you, you know, and it's so lovely to hear that that's what, I guess you made it happen, you know, you believe truly in yourself. And a lot of people have so much self-doubt and those voices that go, oh, you're not really great enough, you're not really cut out for this, or what's everyone going to think, especially in school, because people love a good like gossip at school, don't they? And so especially when you do that, it's like you're really putting yourself up there for vulnerability. So I just wanted to say that's a really cool thing that you did at such a young age as well.
Thank you. I think you do just have to make these ballsy moves, and even if you're not ready for something, you're never going to be ready for anything. You know, you've just got to throw yourself in the deep end and see what happens. And if something bad happens, so what? You move on. You know, you learn from it and you move on. But I think I was really lucky to be exposed to something like visualization within my family. Like, it's something that we really strongly believe in. And my dad he'd always talk about it all the time. Like, him and my brother especially, they'd always talk about it. And my brother's a few years older than me, and he's very creative, but he's in like the motorsport industry. And he would always talk about it and always do it. And then I'd see things that he did and he'd talk about and he'd like hone in on and really think about all the time. And, you know, he has dreams about cars. He's that passionate about the car industry. And they would come to fruition. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But I never really taught myself to do it. It was just something that, because I wanted to do it so much, I was constantly thinking about it. But I think like what people mistake the sort of manifestation part is, oh, I'm just going to think it and I'm going to write it down in a book and it's going to come true. Obviously, you've got to put the graft in and actually believe that you can do it and it will happen. And that's definitely something that I've learned over the past few years. Like, it takes a lot of work, but if you keep believing, it's that self-belief, isn't it? It's like, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. And it's hard though. It's really, really hard sometimes because you get knocked down so much and you don't know whether you're going to pick yourself back up, but you just have to. It's just something that you've got to do.
Yeah, it's all part and parcel of the kind of creative industry, really, isn't it? That kind of that constant rejection. And like you say, if you don't believe it, then no one else will.
Yeah.
You've got to, at the end of the day, it's a choice. It's a choice to go into the industry. Yes, you've probably been put on this planet to be a musician or to be an artist, but at the end of the day, you've got to keep pushing for it, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think surrounding yourself with really good people is also really helpful because you don't have these like yes men that are just kind of saying like yes around you all the time and kind of saying like, oh yeah, you've got this, like just having people that love you and really care about you, but also giving you critique, giving you advice, but telling you to keep going, telling you that you've got to keep going and you're worth it. And like, we believe in you, and having people that believe in you as much as you believe in yourself is really important as well.
Having a really strong support network really encourages you to keep going. I think some people don't have that luxury, and it can be tough to figure that out on your own. But if you do, then I think lean on that, especially when it's people who might not be in your industry or like understand fully about your work. That can help more so, I feel, because then you get an outsider perspective on the situation and a bit more of a kind of level head response than to people that might be in the same field as you, and then you kind of just don't know where you sit.
Yeah, I think it is a tricky one. And, I think I've been incredibly lucky to have a really good support system. And, my dad is like my best friend, and he'll do absolutely anything for me, and I'll do the same for him. And I think, having someone like that where you are at your lowest days, you've got someone that is going to pick you up, and, you're going to be okay. Some people's like managers are like their sister. Like my manager, I would class her as a sister to me now. She's just an angel, and she'd do anything for me as well. I just think it's about finding, if you don't have it initially, then it's just about finding the right person or the right people around you that are going to bring you up.
Yeah,
definitely. Have you had managers then that haven't kind of aligned with you?
Yeah, I definitely say I've had loads of people in like my team that haven't aligned with me. And I think it's a process as well. People say that. I remember when someone told me like having a manager is almost like having a partner. It's like someone you're married to. And I kind of figured that out I didn't figure that out until I met my now manager. And so I think I've been through a fair few people, but you just got to tell yourself, if this doesn't feel right, or if you feel like you're not connected to them enough, then it's time to look for someone else. Yeah.
And how do you go about that? Like, because I think that's quite a scary concept for a lot of people. To kind of let go of like a member in your team or a manager, an agent or someone. Like, how do you go about doing that? Do you find someone else first, or do you just go, we don't align enough, this is not going in the direction I personally wanted to go?
Do you know what? I think a few years ago I would have just said, just leave. Like, I'm a very impulsive person, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I do think having something else, so that you're not going to feel lost once you've left whatever the situation, whether it's a person or whether it's like a company or whatever. Like, I think having your things lined up so you've got somewhere to go is probably sensible. In terms of finding someone, it is really difficult. It's just the way it is. It's so difficult to find someone, and if you don't know the right people or you're really new to the industry, it is just really tricky. But I think how I did it, I was just posting on social media, and I just got picked up by a few people, or whoever shares that video of you, or whoever you never know who's going to send things around. And I think that's why being on social media, as annoying as it is, and as annoying like having to make content and posting, it is just so important, because you get exposure, and you get exposed to the right people.
And you want to generate that buzz for people, don't you, so that you stay current and you stay like on trend on what you do. There is a pressure, like it's a huge pressure to do that, and I guess that comes with being a freelancer and being an artist.
It's necessary, to keep being out there, to keep being in people's faces and see getting in the right people's faces as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of pressure, and I think you do just have to play that game. Unfortunately, it's just the way the industry is at the moment. And I think anyone who's not doing it, because I did refuse for a long time. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm a creative. Like, I should do the creative things that I want to do, like making music. Music is my therapy. Like, that's what I love doing, and that's my outlet. And then having to do it almost feels now like it's 80-20. It's like 80% social media, 20% is just music. That's how it feels in my eyes right now. But again, you've got to play the game, because if you don't, you're going to get lost and you're going to get left behind, and you have to be in people's faces. But I also think there's a difference between being in people's faces and doing something that's going to attract the right attention. I think thinking outside the box, doing things differently, thinking like, okay, there's been all of these artists that have had recent success. What can I do differently to make me stand out? So I'm not going to blend in.
Has there been any like struggles within your music or freelance career at all?
I mean, there's been a lot of struggles. I could go on for quite literally hours. But no, I think probably one of the main struggles is, oh God, there's just so many. But no, I think it's that thing that we said before about, am I going to make it? You know, am I going to make it? Am I good enough? It's like those questions that you ask yourself now and then. And the knockbacks is really tough. It's a really, really tough industry to crack. And, you know, some days you're feeling really, really good. And then some days you're feeling really, really low. Like sometimes I actually feel like I have bipolar, because sometimes my mood, one thing can happen. Like I can get an email from, I don't know, a brand that I love working with or that I've wanted to work with, and then it will lift my mood right up. And then if something, you know, if I get a call from my manager and is like, yeah, you know, I spoke to blah, blah, and, you know, they said it's not the right time, my mood will literally dip so quickly. And I think it's the up and down mood that I really struggle with. It's like, I just want a really consistent mood while I'm trying to get to where I want to, but it's just, in reality, it's not going to happen. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's because you care, though. You care about where your career goes, and you care about like making an impact on the world, society. It sounds like, anyway, to me.
Yeah, it is. It's because I care. It's because I want it so much. And I know this sounds like silly, but whenever I hear, you know, someone's story of making it, or I watch like an audition from someone, and I don't know, they've got the freaking golden buzzer of Britain's Got Talent. I've watched a little clip on TikTok. I start crying, because I'm like, I know how it feels. Like, I know you want this so much. And it's the same thing. Like, I care so much and I want it so much. And I know like I was destined to do this. So I think, you know, having those up and down moods and not knowing whether like things are going to go your way is really hard. But you just have to believe that it is going to work out. And, you know, the time will come for you. Time is different for everyone.
Yeah. And when it comes to sort of your songwriting and things like that, like what motivates you to write the songs that you write? Do you have like a motivation behind it, or reasoning for why you write the songs you write?
Yeah, I think it's definitely just based on life experience. It's just different experiences that I've had in my life, whether they're good or bad. I think whenever something bad happens to me, or, you know, I'm feeling really low about something, I just grab my guitar, I take it to my room, and I just start writing, and then I instantly feel better. You know, like some people's way of, I don't know, way of like getting over a certain feeling is going to the gym or like a dance class or something. Mine's just writing music. And I think that's where all of my music's come from, just different experiences that I've had, and turning that experience from something so negative into something amazing, and, you know, and putting it out there that people can listen to and relate to and feel good about themselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
I was going to say, like, how does someone listening to this who's probably interested in like songwriting and singing, how do you go about actually writing something though? You know, what is there like a particular
Yeah.
method of writing, or do you have to think about the song lyrics that you're writing that would then connect with the actual music? Like, how does that work?
I think songwriting's very different for different people. I think there's no right or wrong way to do it. Um,
Hmm.
if you kind of haven't had experience, or if you don't like play an instrument or something, I think actual lyrics, just start off writing a poem. Like so many people write poems that get turned into actual
Mm.
songs. Um,
Hmm.
but then it's just finding again the right team as well. Like if you really want to start honing in on songwriting, just find like a producer, like a doesn't have to be a big producer, it can just be someone that you really vibe with, and they can do a little bit of production, and you guys can work together and write together. And if they play an instrument and you don't, then you can bounce off each other.
And do you have any advice then for anyone thinking about going into the music industry or to become a singer or a musician in general? Like, do you have any advice for getting into it,
I
essentially?
think the biggest piece of advice that I've now learned is know all about the business side of the industry. Because once you get in there, once you get your foot in there and you get managed or you get signed, normally you're not going to be told how it works or how it's run. Normally it's like, okay, you do the music and we'll handle this. But then, they leave things out. It's just better if you know everything you possibly can about the industry. Um, learning about how splits works in terms of like when a song gets released, learning about things that can be in a contract, just like little things, just learn everything you possibly can about the industry, because then, if something doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right for a reason, but then you can confirm that, okay, this doesn't feel right because I know that this is what it's usually meant to be like. And I think going into contracts, it's I stress it so much that just get everything checked over. Don't sign into anything, because some people are just very good people, and then some people don't have the best intentions and they want to use you, and
Yeah.
they'll just put you on the
Yeah.
shelf, and then that's your career over. Like you don't have a choice unless you have loads of money to pay for legal battles. I think that's one piece of advice, is just learn about everything. Don't just learn
Mm,
about the creative side and the music side. Learn about the whole business,
yeah.
because it's going to really help you later on down the line. Um, and then I think another thing is, again, what I was saying before, just surround yourself with really good people. Don't sometimes when you're with people, you probably shouldn't be hanging around with them and they're not the best people, but you kind of do it anyway because you're like, oh, it's fine. Like they're not going to rub off on me, but it
Hmm.
does. And just having really, really good, genuine people that care about you and you care about them around you. Um, that's
Yeah.
like another major thing that I'd stress, is just like surround yourself with good people and um, connecting with good people, because usually like you do start to act like, I think they say it's like the five closest people around you that you start acting like them. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, just having people that really, really care about you and don't have like any weird or bad intentions, or like you feel like they're kind of using you in some way. Like you don't want those people in your life. And I just
No.
think having like really positive, uplifting people around you is so crucial, especially for someone like in this industry.
So I guess before we sort of wrap up, we usually do a
Mm.
little guest game with our guests.
Would you rather live on a peaceful tropical island or a big bustling city?
Peaceful tropical island.
Would you rather have to start a new job every year until you retire, or have only one job for your entire career?
Oh, it depends what job it is.
Yeah.
So change jobs every year, did you say?
Yeah. Until
Yeah.
you retire.
Yeah. Or just one job.
Oh, that's really hard. That's really hard. I think I'd change jobs. I think I do. I don't think one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Would you rather spend your money traveling the world but have few personal possessions, or have a really amazing house but never leave your hometown?
Oh no, travel. Yeah.
Would you rather
any day.
have to wear Would you rather have to wear all black every day for the rest of your life, or have to mix every colour of the rainbow into your outfit every day?
All black. I don't wear colour. I hate colour. So that's an easy one.
Everyone has said that today that we've chatted to.
Everyone's siding. I'm the same.
What?
I very rarely wear colour,
No.
and Francesca's being outnumbered.
I do. I just don't. I don't think it looks good on me. Like, I just prefer wearing darker colours or like neutral colours. Like, I know I'm wearing white, but I think just neutrals. Colour. Oh no, colour freaks me out.
Would you rather be able to talk with animals or speak every language?
Oh, that's so hard. I'd love to speak to my dog and know what's going on in his brain. Oh God. No, I think talk to animals. I think it's going to have to be that. I would love to speak French now and then, but no.
Yeah. I mean, you could always learn that, I guess, but animals is just such a skill, isn't it, to have, I guess, if someone can give that to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you rather always be 1 hour late or 1 hour early to everything?
That's funny because I probably am always an hour late. Oh, that's really hard. Like my work brain is like, okay, an hour early, but then like parties and stuff, it's always an hour late.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There we go.
Because I think I'd probably have a really bad impression if I was an hour late to work, so it'd have to be an hour early. Yeah, we'll do early. We'll do the sensible thing. Yeah.
Would you rather be covered neck to toe in tattoos or have one big face tattoo?
Oh my God, that's so hard. Neck to
toe.
Oh, it's got to be that. I can't have a face tattoo, can I?
Yeah.
Like one big one as well.
Yeah, the whole.
No,
that's. I just have to wear like almost like a ski outfit, just like long sleeve everything, roll necks. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a fashion choice, you know.
Exactly. Well, my boyfriend's literally covered in tattoos, but thankfully he doesn't have any face tattoos. But yeah, he rocks it. When he needs to cover it up, he can. Just long sleeve t-shirt, jeans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True.
There we go.
Would you rather have to speak in rhyme for the rest of your life or have to speak in riddles for the rest of your life?
Oh my gosh. I think rhyme. I think the riddles would be like, at least you can kind of make a conversation. I think the riddles thing would just piss everyone off. It would also piss me off as well. If someone was speaking riddles, I'd be like, just shut up.
Would you rather have more time or more money?
More time.
Would you rather be a freelancer or PAYE?
Freelancer.
Perfect.
Amazing. And I'm sure everyone would love to follow you on your journey. So where can we find you on socials?
So socials, I'm so my @ is it's Juno James, but if you just type in Juno James, it'll come up. And that's on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all stuff like that.
Wonderful. And when did you say your latest single's coming out?
So Same Old, which is the one that's kind of like related to your podcast, it comes out, we pushed it back, so it comes out on the 2nd of August.
Nice.
Wonderful.
So that's exciting.
It's so exciting.
We'll get people listening to that. Amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks so much.
Definitely. Especially if it's like about the freelance
Oh my
life.
gosh, it is completely. It's literally about, I feel sorry for the ones that have a 9 to 5. Like, that's literally the lyric in the song. And then it's like, as if I did if I did, I'd want to die, which is so true because I actually would rather die than have a
It
9
was
to
meant
5.
to be.
Oh my God.
It was
Love that.
I
literally
know,
meant to be.
crazy.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so
It was. It really was.
well. Thank you for chatting to us and sharing your story.
Wonderful.
Oh, thanks so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much for giving us your time
No,
today.
thank you guys. It was super fun. I love speaking about everything.
Thanks for listening to
Not the 9 to 5 podcast.
If you liked this episode, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel, where we release weekly podcasts every Monday.
Comment below to let us know who you'd like to see next on our podcast.
Give this video a thumbs up and maybe share it with a freelance friend or two.
Until next week, everyone.
Keep freelancing!